Hi guys, someone asks me to share me my VirtualBox templates as he wants to compare his settings with mine, and that's okay, I'm happy to oblige. But, right, ArcoLinux, there is so many written down. ArcoLinux, that's another website, this one, very close, but no, not the right one. ArcoLinux, we have here applications, virtual machines, all you need to know from A till Z, right? Everything you need to know, it's all just in one file. So we'll add the settings here as well. What's more, there is YouTube, and then either my name or ArcoLinux will do fine. And if you recognize the layout and the look and the numbering system, then you know you're at the right place. Advertisement, bye. We go to the channel itself. We go to the source here, the search, and we search something like VirtualBox, right? And see what you can get as hits. And here are play all. How many videos did I make about VirtualBox? 40, right? 40 ways to set it, and it evolves over time. We started at the very beginning and we are now 6 years later, and let's share my setup. So what's the reasoning? First of all, I install VirtualBox. I'll let you do that, but super F7, if it's installed, we have a keyboard shortcut. That's the template. So let's make a new one. Why am I making a template? So I can easily say all the settings are okay, I just need to clone it and install Mate, and then install Cinnamon, and then install all I want, right? The clone is machine dependent. 2 cores here, 4 cores there, 8 cores there, 16 there, right? Memory is all differs. So per machine, I have a template. So let's create a new one, new template. So template this for the video, right? Template this. And where do you want to put this? In a certain place. I've left everything the way it was. VirtualBox VMS. Good for me. Type Microsoft Windows. Not really, right? Linux. ArcoLinux 64 bits is great. It's no problem. But we do have some pride in the fact that we're using ArcoLinux 64 bits, right? So no ISO image is selected because each time it's something else, right? Each time is I put something else in the virtual DVD drive. Next, and now hear me reason, right? You can modify virtual machine using amount of RAM and virtual CPU count. Enabling EFI is also possible. Yes. So we are 2024, right? There is not one machine that has MBR, and the old way of BIOS putting up. Everything that you buy today is UEFI. So set that up as a UEFI special OSs only. No, normal OSs only. What's the memory? This is the memory I've put in my machine, so I can do a lot of things like record and build at the same time, right? So it's up to you to decide how much you give it. Sometimes I have on my left screen a virtual machine running, and on my right screen a virtual machine, so 2. Now I need to divide my amount of memory over these 2. So if I say I'm gonna take, excuse me. So let's restart the reasoning. It can be that I have a virtual machine to the left and a virtual machine to the right. So I give 8, then I have 16, then I'm halfway of 32. Okay? So it's a decision you have to make, but with 8 you have already a lot of power. So the same applies here. Are you going to do that? Yes or no? Now most of the time I'm not running VirtualBoxes separately at the same time, so rather separately, but it's up to you. Decide. This is certainly enough, even with one machine. It's great. Next, size. I take 30 these days. If I'm gonna take Plasma and install everything Plasma has to offer, probably 50. But with 30, and even when I start playing and adding with the ArcoLinux tweak tool, adding BSPWM and awesome and this and that, and right, even then 30 gigabyte is okay, right? But Plasma is a big one, so yeah, okay. For the rest, okay, cool. Next, and then finish. We're not done, right? You are going to take another look. Settings. Template Bliss is just a name. Advanced. Stop doing this, because once you drag something out of your open box, you get an error and blah, blah, blah. So it doesn't work, so don't do it. Description. Encryption. I'm not a fan of encryption, so never bother it at all. And here we have the same settings up here that you can set again. Don't change anything here. Maybe I should investigate this one, because I remember something like that on my motherboard configuration files. So that's for later. Processor. This one is interesting. So when you type INC, you get information of your motherboard. So it passes it through. Physical address extension feature of the host CPU will be exposed to the virtual machine. So you know I'm on Intel, right? And acceleration, don't change a thing. Display, put this one to the top. Enough memory for video. Monitor count, there is just one, right? Just one. And for the rest I stay off. We used to change this all the time. Had to tell people, hey, don't do this. Today I have to tell, do this. VM SVGA works, right? We're on VirtualBox 7.0, 14 release 161.095. This time today we need to do VM SVGA. We don't set the enable 3D acceleration. Remote display, unimportant. Recording, never tried actually, because simple screen recorder is my thing. And here we have the storage. We can add storage. I've made videos about that, to mimic and the fact that you have two hard disks, one for applications, Linux, and one for data, for example, installing Steam and putting all your stuff, the games, on a big 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte hard disk. And audio, never touch it unless you don't want to hear audio in your virtual machine. They said I don't want all the noises, so you can enable or disable it. If you disable it, then of course any config that we are calling pulse audio or pipewire or ALSA or any setting of audio will have a problem, right? There will be no audio. So maybe better set it on, keep it on. But I remember I did that in the past, though. No sound. This is an interesting little thing. I just made a video about it. You can share folders on this. This is called the host machine. VBox shared is a file or a folder I make, right? Test. Well, let's do it. Test. Okay, you create a folder and you point to the folder. So, okay, let's go to the path, other, go to test. Voila. Choose. I could have typed it, not that difficult. Folder is test, mount point, never filled it in, read only, better not, auto mount. The idea is that you can, this folder is your switch room, your way of getting things in and out of the virtual machine. So that's an interesting thing, right? Okay. And then we have set it all except this one. Do believe I do this for the tiling window managers. So if we don't do this, we get this black screen and we don't see anything. So we need to do this off, I think. And then everything is set. Let me check if the last thing is correct. Once you set everything, right, you can't forget it. So this setting has been there for years for me. I just keep on putting my VirtualBox back. And how can you do that? By making one thing, one VirtualBox, this guy, and then you just compress it, create an archive, and I just put the archive back again. On each new installation, my template is there. It's extracted from a tar GZ, I think, right? So that's it. I've got myself a template bis, and all you need to do after each time is say, I'm gonna clone this, give it a name, this day I'm gonna install Mate, and then you pop in Mate optical drive, you go to look for the files, and you say, I can install Mate, up, and you boot up, start. That's it. So that's the last video about the VirtualBox and my settings that I currently use mid-February 2024. Cheers.